You as well.
Yes, sir. So before we get into your good work, I want to know this. 5 years ago, this pandemic changed our lives. How
Yeah.
did you get through that era, and how has it influenced the way that you live and do things today?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I was in Cabo whenever they shut this place down. I didn't think I was going to get back, actually. We had to go to the consulate, but I did get back. And then the next morning, I showed up here, very normal, at a very early hour, and there was no one in my office. And in this office, I have about four or five different companies that office out of this location,
Yeah.
and I was the only one here. And it was like that the next day. My assistant began to send food in. But I'll tell you, it's very interesting to me. A friend of mine, Dan Sullivan, who is the co-founder of Strategic Coach. So you think about their whole model is in person every 90 days coaching.
Mhm.
Thousands of entrepreneurs come from all over the world. And he kept saying Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. It was quite frustrating to me actually, because I'm a big face-to-face guy.
Yeah.
Fast forward, what do? If I'm not somewhere physically on the planet with whom I'm meeting with, I spend all day long in front of this 80-inch TV on Zoom. So it's changed a lot, I would say. They do not make a jet fast enough to empower me to communicate with entrepreneurs that I deal with on a daily basis on the entire geography of the planet.
Yeah.
So it's changed a lot and it's opened up. I feel like the world got bigger and at the same time, the world got smaller.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what's weird? I remember that during that time, I did all my interviews over the phone. And it was
Yeah.
one of those things where you would construct this world through audio. And I remember the first time I did Zoom, I was just kind of resistant. And I was like, the quality's better. I get to see the person.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
made sense. There was an immediate psychological shift. It's wild how it
Yes.
worked, you
It
know?
is. It is. Yeah.
So,
It's not a complete replacement for face to face.
right.
But boy, it's getting closer, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what the next evolution is of because of course it's going to be more immersive, and I'm
Uh-huh.
going to be able to see you. I've definitely tried the was it the Vision from Apple, whatever they call their deals.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. It
Yeah.
truly is, but it's kind of weird wearing that thing. So we're not quite there yet, but I'm excited to see what's next.
We're gonna get there. It's like a big Jetsons cartoon that just
Yeah.
stretches out into infinite. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. So let's get into your good work, and I want to do it this way. To get into an idea of what you do on a daily basis, I'm going to put you in front of 12-year-olds. It's career
Yes.
day, and there's one kid in the room that's curious. That's like, "What do you do for a living?"
What
How
the
do
heck
you
do you
answer?
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I create value by uncovering the assets that you already have to create the future that you've always wanted. That's it. So
Yeah.
everything that 12-year-old has, he
Yeah.
was made unique. His mother and father told him or her that they were made unique. There's only one little Johnny and one little Julie on the planet. It's 100% true. What I've found and what I have also experienced, no one tells us how to activate that. So that was a friction in my own life. For many, many years, I just created companies. It took me about 55 companies created before I figured out I was addicted to value creation. So with that 12-year-old and with every entrepreneur I'm introduced to, I want to understand what I call their unique value contribution. It was the way that they were uniquely designed to create value in this world. They are the missing puzzle piece. And then once I identify it, it's extremely easy for me, remember, addicted to value creation, to
Yeah.
see how their puzzle piece fits into the entire puzzle. And I share that with them. So it's more of like vision as a service that I, of course, have a big community and have created a lot of structure around. But ultimately, that's what we're doing. We're uncovering the assets somebody already has to help them surpass their largest and most audacious dream they've ever thought up. And the good thing is they already have everything they need.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get to the person, the event that made you in your life realize
Yes.
what you needed to be doing, I want to know this. When you were 12, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was your dream job?
It was interesting. I didn't have a specific thing that I wanted to be, but I was already doing it. It started around 8 years old. And so I just have this in relentless passion to share what I see. And I have unlimited ability to see how you take what already exists and recombine it to create new and unique value.
How did you get to that point? Take me back to the beginnings.
Yeah,
Where were
it's a
you
great
born,
question.
raised, and who were what were the foundational seeds that were planted that grew into who you are?
Sure, sure. So definitely I would give all the credit to my parents and also to my environment. And that's going to sound a little contradictory to the way I start out. when I was 8, putting up barbed wire fence in the rural parts of South Carolina where the humidity clocks what I would feel like is 100% and the temperature was 2x that. It was quite unpleasant.
Yeah.
And I was on this farm. It's me, some horses, and trees, and a lot of grass. But I had been exposed to other things. Like I remember watching something that talked about Manhattan. I saw all these big buildings and people everywhere and things just happening. And I was like, man, how in the heck do I get out of here? And it really struck me. It's like I don't have anything. I don't know how to make money. And of course, at 8 years old, you're starting to pick up on things that your parents are talking about. And all of a sudden it completely flipped. It's like a switch. And I began to see all of the resources in the world at my fingertips because I started running programs of what happens when I combine this shovel with this barbed wire? What happens when I combine this horse with somebody who wants to sell it? And I just run all these scenarios. And really, what I was doing is leveraging the art of collaboration starting at about 8 years old. I was just
Wow.
running different scenarios to understand the emergent that happens when you combine two things that already exist. I had no idea that Steve Jobs defined that as creativity. Said all
Interesting.
creativity comes from combining things that already exist.
So what was the first big breakthrough that you made money on? The first business
Yeah.
that made you think, all right, I got it.
Yeah. So with running those programs, I give again all the credit. My father would take me to these horse sales because he loves horses. And I grew up riding before I could even walk horses. So I'd go to these horse sales, some of them two, three, four times a week. And I recognized people would bring their horses to a horse sale to sell. People in the stands wanted to buy. But depending on how well the horse looked and how perceptive the people in the stands were that they could ride that horse, depended on how much they would pay for that horse. Well, I had a unique skill set at that time in which I could make a horse that not a whole lot of people could ride. It looked like everybody could ride it. And again, I was 8 years old. I was a kid. I looked like a peanut. Plus,
Yeah.
it took me a long time to grow up. So I began to offer my services to ride horses through the sale barn for $10 to $20 per horse. So starting about that age, I'd say 8.5, up until I was probably 11 or 12, I would make two or three, four, $500 a week riding other people's horses through the sale barn, making them look like anyone could ride it, which sometimes was not 100% true. Some of those horses were absolutely crazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the way. And it provided me the ability to buy my first piece of real estate at about 11 years old.
Wow. So I keep thinking in my head, at 8 years old, you're incubating this entrepreneurial brilliance and
Mhm.
it's growing. How much of in the beginning and as it's evolved into who you are today was a level of nature and nurtured? Was there a DNA sequence that was born into you, or has all of this been something that's been really about nurturing and evolving like a muscle in a gym?
Joe, I appreciate the question. I think the right word is surrender.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I believe that if you go to the default definition of an entrepreneur, it's 1667, John Baptiste Say, French guy, defined an entrepreneur, which is someone who takes resources that currently perform at a level and increases the performance of those resources. I would like to ask anybody who's listening to this, have you ever had an idea around how something could be better? So at that particular age, I surrendered to who I already was, and I defied the convergent thinking that starts, it seems, best around the third grade that we're all shepherded into. And so I'm not saying that I continue to see the army men run up and down the hills or taste the tea at a tea party that is absolutely imaginary, but I do understand that all the good stuff comes from our imagination. All that wonder. What could happen if you combine this? Or how could this be better? I'm at this restaurant, and what if they were to tweak their processes? It would improve the value perceived by all the people who are eating at this restaurant. We're all doing this.
Yeah.
Now, the convention is I need you to make 100 on the math test, and I need Chad to make 100 on the math test. When Joe crushes it in English, and I could do numbers backwards, probably even drank alcohol, even drinking alcohol. But they don't put us together. They don't combine us. They don't let me learn from you as a peer on my level, who probably
Yeah.
speaks the same language, uses the same slang. I'm supposed to receive it from somebody much older than me. And
Yeah.
maybe I just don't learn well that way. But remember, I'm unique at math and you're unique at English. What happens if you put us together? Do you think some of your uniqueness on English is going to rub off on me because I can understand the way that you speak? So around that time in the third grade, best I can tell, we began to be really shepherded into convergent thinking, less and less divergent thinking. And some of us just said, no, thank you. I would be one of those.
You know, I always heard, because I tend to be more creative, more right-brained about the way I
Yeah.
operate. I embrace that a lot. But I'm fascinated with minds like yours that are entrepreneurial, that think successfully in business. And it's not something that it's just something, it's a passion and it comes out almost by osmosis. But one of the best things I ever heard from somebody in the entrepreneurial mindset was you don't go in thinking you're going to make $1 billion. You go in solving a problem. That's it. You're
Yeah.
solving a problem, right?
That's it. One problem, one time. So for me, Joe, it's such, I think is profound. I'm drawn to friction. So if you look back at 8 years old and just say fast forward to the conventions of regular business stuff, I never had the opportunity to work in an industry for 10 years and come up with a better mousetrap.
Yeah,
For me, it's all about friction. So any company I've ever created, the industry already existed, but I was paying attention to the patterns in that business, and all I did was recognize, like, when this happens, if somebody would do this, it'd make everybody happy. And then I would go to validating. It's like, if I solve that, how many actual people would buy that? And if I continue to get confirmation, I call it, it's a methodology I created a long time ago called remove the film. We've all got new iPhones or new cars, and they've got that film over the
yeah,
screen or
yeah,
the film over the phone. I see industries and businesses that particular way. Whenever you, as a human, independent of the classification or designation as an entrepreneur, if you recognize something that is a friction, and I in the book that I wrote, Friction Fuel, I talk about three different types of friction. The most sexiest friction for me is the one that no one's complaining about. Those are the ones that if you would embrace them, turn them into a business, oh man, you'd have built-in clients.
yeah,
So to me, it's all about friction identification and then leverage the market. That's where the film acronym comes in.
yeah.
Friction identification. You just have an idea of how something could be better. You're recognizing that these people would be better served if, and to leverage the market portion is twofold. One, how many people would buy it if I solve it? And then the second portion of leverage the market is who already is in business that has the capabilities to solve this. They don't have the vision.
Right.
Vision is the catalyst.
So who was that business mind growing up? I know when I was a kid, we'd see Michael Jordan doing these amazing dunks and we'd lower our rim in the driveway and we'd get our little
Oh,
archaic
yes.
cameras, right? Try to capture that moment. There's always those moments of emulation when you're young. And obviously your mind's been in a business mode. Who was that for you? Was there one or a host of people that motivated you to grow and shoot for the stars?
Yeah, so definitely my father would be, and my mother both would be just huge contributors. My dad was definitely always looking for ways to create value for others, and I recognize that either consciously or subconsciously. A lot of times people will be, oh, I read this book, and no, I'm just not that guy. I'm naturally curious. I'm drawn to friction, and I like to create value for others. I'm addicted to creating value. Where did it come from? There was one book that I did read. It's very funny. My lovely wife bought it for me, hand signed, many, many years obviously later, and it was The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
Now, if I read that book now, it's as corny as it possibly could be. And you can obviously it's written by Donald Trump. A lot of folks know that. That I wouldn't say, who knows if it dropped into my subconscious? I'm not sure. But I can't point back to, oh, this was it. But the culmination of all, the environment of growing up, the natural curiosity that was really fostered because horses don't say a lot. Like my summers were spent doing work, like true work,
Yeah.
barbed wire fence, bush hogging pastures. I used to rodeo all around the country and team roping. And so we built a rodeo arena because we had plenty of land. Well, one summer I spent raking rocks out of this 100 by 200 arena, putting them in a 5 gallon bucket, dumping the 5 gallon bucket into a skid steer, and taking it off into the woods to dump the rocks, just to prepare a place where I could do my practicing. So there's not a lot of people to talk to. Therefore, I'm just looking at everything that exists and saying, what happens when I combine it?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Getting to a point where you're successful in life, like being an entrepreneur, the back end of that people don't see. It's just like when you watch baseball players do what they do. They make everything
Hmm.
difficult look easy. You think, Mike, it's seamless. And there's a level of being good at business where you make it look easy. It requires a lot
Yes.
of work. What is that for you every day? What gets you when that alarm goes off and your feet hit the floor and you're going for it and you've done this with 55 businesses? What is it that's consistently got you up, but also to take care of your own soul and have some level of
Mhm.
equilibrium?
Yeah. So, what a wonderful question. So, I have a very defined daily routine. The name of it is Daily Grace. And grace for me stands for gratitude, reflection, awareness, creation, and engagement. So the gratitude starts very first. Luckily, I'm so fortunate. I say in one way, I have all these trackers for my sleep, and they nothing likes the way I sleep because I don't sleep very long. I go to bed at 8:58 in the evening, and I wake up somewhere between 3 and 3:30 very naturally. But when I become conscious, my eyes stay closed, and I start with gratitude. I wasn't promised the very next second, and here I am again waking up. So I
Yes.
begin with gratitude, and I do that until I don't have things to be thankful for. And then that's whenever I start meditation. So that reset on a daily basis and certainly dropping into my subconscious at the very beginning of consciousness, which your brain's in theta brainwave state. So the door to your subconscious is definitely open at that time. It begins to rewire because everybody has their own bag of tricks that they're having to deal with. I am just the exact same. The difference is they're my bag of tricks I'm having to deal with and not yours, but they still have the same intensity to each one of us individually. I choose to start my day with gratitude. Therefore, it rewires me for the entire day.
It almost seems like once you find out how to calm and wire your brain to a place where you're thinking the way that you want to think and you cut all the garbage out, it's like that's the nirvana. That's the place that you want to get
That is
to.
it.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Because it's
Yes.
that thing when I get around young people and they're like, "Man, this is happening." And they think it's happening to them. And it's
No.
really all about and when you start dispensing that wisdom as an older guy, they just like shrug it off, but it's
Ah,
like it's
yeah.
not it's all happening to all of us. It's how
Yes,
you're
it is.
reacting to it.
Yes, things are just things. We are the ones who give them meaning.
Yeah.
I understand now, Joe, that and I have no formal education, so anything that I share with you, I've read it, I've watched it, I've experienced it, and I've interpreted it. Okay,
Yeah.
so I understand that we all get a couple million inputs a day, 2.2 to be exact,
Yeah.
and we delete. There's a portion of our brain, I think it's called the burst, that deletes all but 130,000. So if you really package that and really understand it, it means we're creating our own damn reality.
Yeah.
We can wake up in the same bed, go to the same meetings, eat the same food, watch the same movie, and then you'll tell me how much you did or did not like the movie, which is different than me. We're like it's all of the, so we're so much more in control
Yeah.
than we actually give ourselves credit to be, and that's why I enjoy helping others get to that particular place. I created this thing called Desirement Lifestyle, and I help a lot of entrepreneurs around the planet begin to move in this direction. Earlier, what I perceive you were talking about is you're in alignment. And I would argue you're in alignment with your creator, whatever you call it, God, et cetera. It doesn't matter to me, just as long as you know that it's out there. Once you get in alignment, energy actually has the opportunity to flow through you.
Yeah.
So when I am helping entrepreneurs around the planet understand exactly what they already have and how they could combine that to create more than they've ever wanted, I am absolutely in alignment.
Yeah.
So it's not coming from me. This is coming through me, and I
Sure.
can just feel it, right? And who knows what the next word is? I don't really have to think about it because you're just so in alignment and you're doing, and I know this is very cliche, but you're doing what your purpose is,
Yeah.
which is what we're all trying to get to.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and ran into it like the 16-year-old version of you, you go into
Yes.
that home, you sit down and you hand that version of you a book. Almost looks like a coffee table book. And that young version's going through it and they're kind of confused and you're like, that's what happened. That's the life that's been lived. Would that version of you believe it?
Yes. No, 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 no. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Would it be? I understand the question now. No, they would not believe it because you don't know the building blocks that are being given to you. I always say that the only thing in life you can do is give what you've been given, and you don't even know it
Yeah.
because you're trying to project and be out there, right? I'm here and I'm striving, no matter entrepreneur or non-entrepreneur, I'm here and I'm striving to get there. Understanding that here is there. But you begin to radiate. Just go inside and understand all the things that you have and how you can, of course, create value for other people in the world. And everything shows up. And no, that person, that little kid would not, like, you're riding horses, team roping around the country. That really correlates with software development, AI, IT, cybersecurity, and all these other companies. No, I don't think he would have believed it.
Yeah. So,
Great question.
yeah, thank you. Of everything that you've done, and more importantly, evolved to at this point in your life,
Mhm.
holistically, what are you the proudest of?
The grounding that it's all value creation and the awareness now that as I look backwards, I often ask, tell me the top three things that happened in your life. And then if you will share with me which one of those happened without another person, place, or thing. It's all collaboration.
Yep.
So I'm most happiness with, I very much understand now that it truly is all collaboration. And then everything is value creation to leverage what you have been given to create value for someone else. And that's the complete unlock. So that's what I'm most happy. It's not the businesses or
Yeah.
any of the material stuff. I do like nice things. I'm not saying that. I
Yeah.
like nice things. I don't like a lot of things that are nice, but I do like nice things. But it's all about how can I give what I've been given.
So let's take that one step further. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, everyone that you work with, everyone that knows you, everyone that gets your books, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Mm, I'm definitely someone who's addicted to value creation. I know exactly what I was put on the planet for, is to help others reach well beyond their wildest dreams. And that's I'm unlimited vision and I want to share it. That's what I
So,
do.
speaking of that, having that adventurous spirit in you, if you could go back in time and see one
Hmm.
event in human history with your own eyes, in this pantheon of America, or not even American, but human history, and you could be there to watch the event, it wouldn't create a tear in time. You just get to see it unfold. What event do you want to see?
Well, yeah, you never know. You just came up with that question this morning. Uh, if I could see one particular event, I would say it would be definitely going back to some biblical times. Although I'm very spiritual, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. It would be going back to some biblical times to see just the most authentic expression of true love and compassion and patience. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And say, there it is. That's it, just showing up to give what you've been given to help someone else and to see that transferred, not verbally, not physically whatsoever, but at a much, much deeper level. And it could have seen and experienced that and then just take it forward and share with others. That would have been the time.
So if anyone out there is ready to get to that next level of their life and they have questions, they want to hire you, they want to get your books, any of the good business, where do they go?
Yeah, so the easiest thing, LinkedIn, I have tons of activity on LinkedIn. And then my core organization is named Seed Spark. So it's one word, seed, like you would seed vision, and spark, like you would take that vision and make it grow. So seedspark.com.
Right on. I will put those links in the show notes. What a refreshing
Perfect.
conversation, Chad. Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Joe,
much
I've
for
really
your time.
enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.